Hi, let us look into how to make an animation, especially making an animation to bring life to an illustration. Okay, I have an example over here, as in like if let's say I want to illustrate something like example growth. If I want to talk about growth, let's say I have a small plant, then it grows to a middle plant and then to a mature plant. All right. So how can I using animation to represent a growth like this as an illustration? Let me walk you through with the steps in order to create such animation. Okay, go back to the PowerPoint and let me copy this slide out. In order to copy, I click on this slide and click Control D is to duplicate these slides. So once I have this duplication, I do have an existing image over here which already assigned with animation. How do I know whether it's being animated or not? I click on this particular image and go to the tab here for animation and open up the animation pane. After you open animation pane, then you notice that there are animations functions already applied to the image. So I don't need this because I'm going to show you with the example. I click on all these and then delete it. So now after I have deleted the animation functions, now this as good as this an image, and I can bring it out and see that I have three different type of image to show the growth. One is the small, medium, and big. Okay, so just now I have shown you the animation is to come out one by one and then also exit how to do such effect. Firstly, I want this to come out first. So I click on this particular image and then I use fade. So meaning that once I click on this particular animation functions is here, is being assigned to this particular image. So next, this will come out when there is a next click, right? So I click on this particular image and assign fade. You will see that the second functions is just next to the first one. And you will notice that there's a small little mouse over next to the animation function. It is meaning that I need to click, then only this particular animation is being called out, right? So if you want it to be like after this particular small image, then continue with the medium one, I can assign these to with previous or after previous, right? Just the three options we can choose. But for my animation, I want to illustrate as in like I click one by one to make it show out when I click it. So the third one is this particular one. When I click it, it will come out. So I assign another fade. Now you see that there are three different animation is being assigned to three different images. So let's see how it works if I am go in a slideshow mode. So I click on slideshow. So right now there's nothing, no image you can see on the screen because I have not initiated the animation. How to initiate? Still remember by clicking, I assign the row as a click. So I click on it, it will show. I click second click, it will have the second image fade out, the fade in, sort of fade in to show out, right? To click, third click is to show the third image. So this is how I assign one by one. By clicking, it will come out. Go back to our normal PowerPoint mode. So now, the second thing that we want to do is that once I click the second image come out, so I want my first image to be fade out, meaning that it will exit once I have clicked the second image out. So how can I do that? So this click on the first image and assign, instead of here look for exit fade, because we have assigned the first function animation function onto this image, which is fade in. What I need to do is to add animation instead of select it animation from the selection over here. So click on add animation, and then you need to add as a fade, meaning that it will fade out. You see that? Once I add this particular fade out function, it will list at the bottom. What I can do is to drag it to the second. You see this second, meaning that this particular image is fade in. Once this fade in, I want this to fade out together. So I assign this as a with previous, right? So I assign this with previous, meaning that once this come out, this will fade out. Okay, same thing for this one. Once the big plant comes out, the medium plant is going to fade out. So how can I do that? Same steps. Okay, click on this particular image. Instead of looking for the fade out exit in the selection, I need to add animation instead of select from the main option. Go and assign this fade out. So now you see that I have assigned another function, is fade out, for my the medium image. So I need it to be together with the third image, the big plant together. So instead of assign as an on click, I assign it as with previous, meaning that once the big plant comes out, the medium plant will fade out, right? So how it looks like. So let us go into a slideshow mode. Okay, so the first one, once I click, it will fade in, meaning it's shown, it being shown. So when I click on the second plant, which is my medium plant, once I click on the second plant, the first plant will fade out. When I click on the third plant, the third plant will show, then my second plant will fade out. So that is the animations that I can put as an illustration to show that one by one, the growth from the small to the medium to the big. So this is how we assign animation to each of the plant. But now, how can I combine it to make it into an effect like this, right? As if like it grows from one spot, right? So what we can do is just to select all these together and use this graphic format, align everything to the center. Once you align everything to the center, graphically, it looks messy on the slide. But when we show it in the slideshow mode, it looks okay because we have assigned animation to it. So once you have grouped put every image together as a line to the center, now you can either you put it this side or that side. It's up to you, depends on your layout of your slides. So let's say I want to put it at this slide. This is exactly on top of this which I'm talking about. So now, if I'm going to slideshow mode, you can see that how it will look like. So once I put in a slideshow mode, the first image, which is the small plant, will not come out first until I click. Once I click on it, it will initiate the first animation, which is fade in. Then once I click on the second time, the medium plant will come in and my first plant, which is a small plant, will fade out, right? So that's why you will not see the small plant on the screen right now. So now I have a middle plant. I can talk about, oh, this is the middle age and just give an illustration, right? So when I click on the third click, meaning that my big plant is coming in as an animation to fade in. And of course, my middle plant will fade out because I have assigned such animation to this particular plant. So once I click the third click, see the big plant is coming in and the middle plant will fade out. So that is the third stage, which I'm talking about. So this is how animations used to help us to illustrate something, to bring life to an illustration. So this concept you can apply to talk, let's say my first stage, my second stage, third stage, or to talk about the younger age, my middle age, and my mature age. So this is how we illustrate and bring life to our talk. So I hope that you learn this particular type of animation to bring life to an illustration. This is also another animation that how we can bring life to an animation, bring life to an illustration by using animation. Let me show you about this particular animation first before we learn how to do this animation. Okay, let me go into a slideshow mode. Let's say I'm talking about PowerPoint and such. If we are using PowerPoint in a good way, meaning that you will give power to the point that you want to explain on the slides. But if you misuse PowerPoint, then your point will be powerless. You see that while I'm talking, right, the animation is being illustrated on the point that I'm going to stress on, right? Just like I'm talking about, oh, powerless point. That's why you will see that when I talk about powerless point, I initiated the animation to show powerless and point the word out from the PowerPoint word itself, right? So that is an animation that we can use to bring life to an illustration, meaning that it being illustrated how the words that I'm going to talk about. So let us learn the steps of doing such illustration or animation. Okay, so the same step, if I want to copy a slide out, I can click on this slide and then click Control D. Control D is to duplicate. So I go to this particular slide. How to call out the animation pane? How do I know whether all these images being assigned with animation? Go to the animation tab and you guys can see the animation pane. Click on animation pane and you will see the timeline of the animation is being shown on the right hand side. So in order for me to walk you through the example, I need to delete all these existing animation. So let me delete all the existing animation first. Okay, so now no animation is being assigned. Still remember, when I talk about powerless point or PowerPoint, actually I have three elements on this particular image or on slides. One is the logo of PowerPoint. The second one is this power. So actually, this is a word. I'm using a text box and add the word. And in fact, this word is powerless. If you can see it, this, if I move this out, right? Okay, you see that I have already pre-typed in powerless as my word. The only thing is that I add another text box, which I put the word as point, and then I cover it up, cover this particular word called less, right? So powerless, right? Power. So the point here, I cover it up. But make sure that in order to cover it properly, I need to make sure that this particular text box is filled with white color so that it will not, we can't see whatever at the back. If we choose as a no fill, then you see now it's a bit messy because I am overlapping something on top of a word. So in order to make an effect as if like I don't see anything at the back, I change this to white color so that it will cover up whatever at the back. So now I have all these images or elements that I want to animate ready. So what is the first step? The first step is, of course, to make these two words like going apart from each other, right? First thing first, let's make this particular word in order for us to show the whole word as powerless. Click on this text box, go to animation, and then look for, there's one function what we call as a motion path. Motion path, linear, arc, turns, whatever that motion that you want to use. But I want to use linear lines, right? I use line. Once I click on line, initially PowerPoint will give me as the movement from top to bottom. What we can do is to change the effect either down or left or right or up. So for me, I would prefer to have because I am showing this powerless to the left hand side, right? So I click left and you will see that it will move all the way to the left. But the problem is that once it moves all the way to the left, if you notice, once I play it again, right? If you want to see without going to a slideshow mode, there is a button called play form. Once you play form, it will show. You will notice that the power, the P is out from the slides, right? It's out from the slides. But I don't want it to go to the extreme left. How can I do that? So move your cursor, click on this powerless point, and click on one of the end node. Can you see over here? Once I click on this node, right, it will select either of the node. For this node, I want it to be going back to the right a bit. So what I can do, click on this particular node, the red color node, and press on the shift key so that whenever you drag this particular node, it will lock consistently to the horizontal mode, right? So I show it again. If I don't press on the shift key when I click on this node, you can be like freely move around. But I don't want that because I want it, undo it first, because I want it to be like in a linear mode. So what I can do is that while click on this node and drag, press on shift key, and you will see that I am moving it left to right very nicely aligned horizontally. So I think, okay, like this is good enough because the P will not go out from the slides. So once I have this, let go. So now I have done with the first animation, which to move my powerless to a bit left. So next thing is to make this particular word to move to a bit to the right hand side. So it's the same steps. I click on this text box, look for the function, animation function, what we call as lines. Once I click on it, PowerPoint will automatically assign as going down. But I can change the effect option to, instead of left, now I want to go to the right hand side. Once I click to the right hand side, you will see that this particular word's point is going to the right. But let me play it again. Click on this particular one and play form. You will see that the T is out from the slide, which I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be nicely fit on the slides. So what I can do, just repeat the same step. Pick this particular node, the red color one, right? Click on it, left click. Because I want to lock it to the horizontal movement, I press shift while moving my mouse. Now I move it a bit here, and you will see that the T is in the layout itself. So now let's test it out. These two functions of animation functions. Okay, click anywhere. Don't click the text box or the image. Clicks anywhere until you see that there's no selection on any of these functions. Right. Just click play. Once you click play, it will play from the top to the bottom. Once let's do it. Okay, play. It move one, then it move the second one. Right. Now I see that the point, it's a bit, the word point, it's a bit far from the powerless. So I want to move it nearer a bit. So what I can do, click on this one again, click on this node, press shift key, and then move it a bit inside. Okay, then let's test it out again. Okay, 1 and 2, right? It looks nice. Why is it like the powerless will move first, then the second one, the point will move the next one? Because I have assigned on click. You see the small little mouse next to the function? Because I assign on click, meaning that it click once, then it clicks second one, then the second animation is being initiated. But I want it all go together. How to do that? You assign this with previous, meaning that once the first one go, the second one will go together. How it looks like. Okay, let's go back and click play all. You see that now both words move together because I assigned the second animation with the first animation together. That's why you will see that it goes together. So the third thing that we want to do is that after all these two words go apart, right, my logo is going to disappear. So how to do that? It's very simple. Just click on this particular image and assign as a fade. So it's fade out, right? So now it's being assigned as on click, meaning that after the two animation, I need to click, then the logo is going to fade out, right? But I don't want, I want it all together. So what I can do is to assign this one as with previous. Once I put as with previous, meaning that once my word all go apart, my logo is straight away fade out. So but I don't want it to be like a bit too fast to see the logo fade out, right? Either you can adjust, as in what to adjust the effective timing, as in because it's very fast, I want it to be slower a bit, let's say 3 seconds. Okay, so once I play, you see that it will fade out slowly, right? Why it only fade is because I've choose this particular function once. If I don't want, I click any way to deselect everything. Now I play it again, you see that it will go apart first, and you see the logo is slowly fade off because I assigned 3 seconds to fade it off, right? That is one of the option. If you don't want that to do it with the timing, you can choose very fast, right? But instead of using with previous, I can use after previous, meaning that the fade out function will only apply after the whole two words being moved, right? Let's see how it works. I play it again. These two words go apart first, then only it initiate the fade out options or animations for the logo. So let's see how it looks like when we show it in the slideshow mode. Okay, I move it to a slideshow mode. I'm gonna talk. Okay, now there's no animation clicks in because I have not clicked any mouse click. Because the first animation, still remember, it only initiated when I click on it. So now, after I finish talking, now click on it, then only my words go apart. The third one, which is the fade out, the logo fade out, will kicks in after the first two animation is being done, right? So this is how we bring life to an illustration, meaning that while I'm talking, I am illustrating my words and my action using animation. So I hope that you learn something from here, how to illustrate the points that you are trying to talk in by using animation, right? So I will see you in the next video. I will talk more about animation.